Patrick. First one in. How are you, my friend? Greetings, TikTok Nation, YouTube Nation, scrappers, scrappets, planet lovers, and everybody else. The fellas just left for the day. They moved all my furniture has been moved from my downstairs to my upstairs. They're gonna come in Monday and start ripping out cabinets and putting new floors down. I actually have beautiful hardwood floors in this house, and I would have loved to have had them refinished, but you know, it's just not going to happen. So we're going to put a nice engineered hardwood floor over the top. It'll be quicker, it'll be easier. I don't have to go live somewhere else, and so on and so forth. However, I've been busy with the e-scrap. Yes, Patrick, hi, it's good to see you too. I've been enjoying your lives. You just are the master of the microscrap. And hello from the UK, believer. So anyway, I don't know how long this is going to be, but I do have a box here. I thought I would go through sorting and grading, and I'll make this box available to you guys. I've had quite a bit happen with the business this week. We not only, of course, have a new board buyer from New York, which saves me having to ship, but I also, there's a fellow who came to visit me yesterday. You know, we talked just a bit to see if we might be able to work together. But the good thing is he is not too far from me, and he will buy my power supplies. And he'll buy a lot of the other low-end boards that Board Sort will buy them, but it's not cost effective to ship. So that was really helpful. That was very good. All right, so I took apart a big, huge Hewlett-Packard server. I don't know if you remember my video over the summer where I showed them putting the pallet of computers onto the back of Big Red. I have a couple of those left. What I'm trying to do is find anything that's got a hard drive or got some RAM left in it. And I'm not finding too much. This is a memory board, I believe. It actually came off of this board here, and it sat like so. I was surprised that the server was huge, but there really wasn't a whole heck of a lot in here. I'm going to leave this. This is memory, and there's probably another gold-banded BGA under here. If I were to sell it to a board buyer per se, they would probably buy it as a gold finger card. They might give you peripheral below, but I'm going to go with gold finger card. It's from an HP. You've got good gold flashing here, so this is a good board to go ahead and process. I'll take that bracket off so it'll be clean for you. Now, when I ship these, I always ship them in a US large flat rate priority box, so I don't really have to worry about the weight. I can't guarantee any of these work, guys. I'm selling them as scrap. There's beautiful gold in here. There's good gold here. These older boards are much better for gold recovery. And you know, when I'm putting these boxes together, or when I'm scrapping in general, I always try to put aside things that'll fit in the box that I can, you know, provide for you, the home gamers. Now, these types of boards, this also came out. This was the server board. It's hard to see in the camera, but there's excellent gold recovery here. This is like a slot processor board kind of thing. You've got a gold banded here, but look at here. This went into a some type of a backplane board. So this is a really good board for gold recovery. Grading wise, I would grade it as a slot processor board. It doesn't have a removable CPU. They were just the flip chips. But again, excellent gold recovery on this board. You flip it over, you can see the gold on the back. See if there's a date on here. The older the board, the better the gold. I don't see a date on here. I do know these came out of a working office, and you know, they asked me to decommission them. There's some nice gold here. So this board is good enough for gold recovery for you home gamers that it can be, and it's small enough that I can ship. I had one of these left. This was, I got 300 of these the other day. And that's right, the older the golder. We all know. Oh yeah, thank you. Somebody just said crystal oscillators on the board, and that's these things right here. These, if you're doing silver recovery, there's a wee bit of silver in here. I'm trying to find out. I know capacitors have silver, but I would, if you're looking to for places to find silver, I would hit hashtag silver recovery. That's just something I don't know a lot about yet. Even though Scrappy D is still learning. Yeah, I've got a jug of these down, but because I'm going to sell this to one of my subscribers at some point, I'm going to leave everything on it. So those are good for, you know, and if you're got a low-grade board that you don't really care about, you know, you can nip those off. They come right off. I don't want to nip this one because I want to leave the value on it for whoever buys it. Look at that. Drool, drool, drool. I usually go on Sunday mornings, but I have no idea when people are coming in and out of here. So I had this put aside so I could get up and say hello. It's been busy. These came from an Allen organ. There's something called the sound box, and these all plug in, and the organist pushes all these different buttons and creates a sound, and that's what these do. I had one left, but I had my new buyer came down from Mamaroneck, New York. It's really just over the state line from Connecticut. It's about a 45-minute drive, and he picked up all of these, and I'm actually working on trying to get a load of server boards ready for him, so that's huge. He pays board sort price, and I don't have to ship it. It's a win-win. You know, we're developing a very nice friendship and a very nice working relationship, and that's important. So, beautiful gold fingers here. These will come off. This, they weren't on there, which is why I might have pulled that off. Sometimes they don't put the EEPROMs on. The board gets printed, and then all the components get added as you go along. And so on. So that's going to go in there. See, these they fit in the box. So even though it's a little bit expensive, I don't have to worry. I know I can fill the box up really well. These came off of Dell blade modules. They sat on the top of the board like so. These are very good quality pins, and that's a beautiful BGA. I think this is called a logic card, if I recall correctly. Believe it or not, I'm not a computer person. I'm good at taking them apart, but that's about as good as it gets. But guys, don't forget to hit the like button because it really, really helps the channel a whole bunch. Hi, ChatSpark, how are you? So these are really good. I think I've got 6 of these. Those are those blades that I got the beautiful hunks of copper out of. I took half of it to the yard the other day. So it went up to $6 a pound, and they tried to buy it for me for $4 1/4, so I put it back in the car. I don't really want to sell it, but yeah, I don't really, I sort of have to, but I don't have to, you know, just trying to keep the funds rolling so I can pay the contractors as the kitchen gets done. So we've got about half a dozen of those. That's it. Once you see it go in the box, it's in the box. And I'll put these up and list them for you so you'll know where to get them. Gold finger cards, guys, are a great place for gold recovery. RAM is getting ridiculous. I think you're going to see $60 a pound by the end of this month. I mean, if copper's at 6 and silver's going, but everything's going crazy. I mean, I don't know. You know, part of me is saying hold, 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 but I've seen it happen where it's reversed and just going right down. But even scrap metal is up. I went to the yard yesterday. This is a short video on scrap pricing yesterday. I went to the yard yesterday, and light iron is up to $145 a pound. I think it was. I remember 2 years ago it was 180, and then I've seen it as, not a pound, a gross ton. A pound, we'd all be millionaires, eh? You know, so there's that. All right, so these grade as gold finger cards. Now, if I was selling this to Board Sort or another board buyer, they would have several categories for this. They like the bracket, and if there's a metal heatsink, the more stuff, if you take off the bracket and you take off the heatsink, you get the best bang for your buck. In this case, I'm leaving them on because sometimes people who buy these boxes from me might want to resell these parts, and you know, they might have a way to test it. So this is a PCI riser card. There's not a lot of gold, but still, you've got a beautiful BGA there, and certainly some good gold recovery. These all came out of the HP server, and as I said, because I don't know, you know, who's buying it and for what, I'm selling it as scrap, but a lot of times people like to try to resell the older vintage ones. And if you can test it and they work and you want to resell them, awesome. So those are in there. These all just came out of that big server that I did. And if I was going to sell them to Board Sort, I would take off the bracket and take off the heatsink. See, in this case, it doesn't really matter, the flat rate box, whether I have 10 pounds or 70 pounds. You know, it doesn't matter so much. Another one of those. Little logic card. I mean, these are great gold fingers. You know. This is a peripheral high grade card, and it's high grade because it has a lot of chips on it. It's very densely populated, and there's visible gold. Those grade as high grade peripheral boards, and they are good for gold recovery. There's a lot of gold in there. You know, and again, I'm just trying to make sure the box is good and full. I usually sell them for like 99 bucks. These are okay. Nothing special. This is a PCI riser card, I think. But you know, I'll put that in because it's got some good gold recovery. Yeah, if you've ever bought one of my boxes, you guys know what I put in them, and you know that they'd be very good boxes. You can check my I Can't Say Where store. And most of my boxes, round true, most of them are $99 a box. I'll put a posting on my profile page of where you can go to look for the board. Having my house go under construction is putting me just a hair behind, but the website's coming along. I should have that launched pretty soon. But here's another really nice card. Again, nice gold fingers, nice chips. There should be some gold in here. I can see some. Now these I got out of old CD-ROM boards. The older ones have what they call an IDE connector, and IDE pins are good for gold recovery. I think the number is 48. Don't hold me to it. I'm not going to sit there and count them. You'll get IDE connector boards out of older hard drives like this one. And these I got off of CD-ROM boards, older ones, and DVD boards. You'll see them attached to the end of a ribbon wire. Generally, if you see a plastic ribbon wire, you're going to get a nice bit of gold underneath. So there are 6 right now. I may, if I can get a few more done, I'll throw a few more in there. 7. And that's there. This is another pound of just assorted gold finger cards. And I'm going to put that in the box. So there's at least 10 pounds of gold finger cards in there, plus all the assorted other thingies. This came out of a solid state hard drive. You know, the little ones with the little black aluminum cases on it. Look at those chips, and look at the gold. That's in there. These are good for me because I can keep stuff moving, even if I can't get a whole pound or enough to make a shipment. But again, you know, I try to put these aside for you guys. Look at the gold. Those are all things I try to put aside for my subs. And here's another one. Got some nice chips. Got a little bit of gold. So that box is done. This came off of a 3.5 floppy. Again, I'll put that in there for the pins. The box is pretty full now. I'll top that off with some ceramic. I have some ceramics and some EPROMs and stuff down in the basement. And I'll top it off just a little bit. so it's a good full box. But yeah, this was good. I was able to get several boards into the box, which I'm really happy about. So you guys can have fun with those. You know, when I do this video, I always like to go through the grading. I think that's really important. You know, I'm really not trying to sell you the shop. I do like to, but it is part of my income. It is something I do. But I do like to teach. You know, that's very important to do. So what else is going on? Let's see. I don't have a heck of a lot on the workbench. I've been trying to knock apart some of the servers that I have. I'm trying to get a telecom board order off the board sort. Oh, before I forget, these are the high grade non-SATA hard drives with all the pins. These are getting really hard to find. These pay premium price. I'm going to think the price might be around $27 a pound. They're up there because of this. That's the other thing too. The fellow that I'm going to be, the fellow I met with yesterday, he will buy my hard drives with no boards. And, you know, there's a lot of gold recovery in hard drive boards. There really is. I've been watching Scrap and Irish the past couple days. He's got a boatload of them. And, but see, he does his own gold refining, and that's just, you know, that's it. It's not my comfort zone. I like what I'm doing. This fellow who came yesterday, who owns it's a refinery, but not what you and I think of as a refinery. He incinerates the boards, gets the gold off, and then ships them off to Dubai. And we've all seen those videos as well. But he is local, you know, and he's willing to buy anything, you know. I don't like to sell I-core boards. I don't sell those in general because there's so little gold recovery on them. Integrated motherboards are not that great either. There's just not a lot of gold recovery on them. I tend to be careful of what I'm purchasing, you know, because I want to do the resale, and I don't want to. I mean, I have, I don't know, probably 50 at this point still. Those Lenovo computers I bought over the summer. I know there's nothing in them but an I-core. You know, there's an I-core board, but the I-core chip is too old to recover. They're like I-core 2. So they've been sitting just because there's really just no money in them. Except for maybe the pinless CPUs are selling pretty well now. Oh, good. Good luck with that. Believe. Yeah, phones can be so hit or miss. I have a telecom company that I work with, and you know, one hand washes the other kind of thing. I'll go over to if they're doing a job, I'll go over and I'll bring the truck and I'll run stuff to the dump, or I'll help them carry stuff out. And in return, they have been hooking me up with a lot of telecom. I'm trying to get them to sell me their boards. I know he has a buyer already, and you don't just, you know, brush off somebody who you've been working with for many, many years, and I know that. But I said, "What's he paying?" I said, "What's he paying?" Ha ha! Proud, good one. Office phones. So I met him. I was at the town dump, and some of you have heard the story before. And he comes in with a dump trailer full of office equipment. He's got computers, he's got phones, and I said, "Hey," I said, "Can I give you some money and can I buy that from you?" He said, "You can have it." So we unloaded his dump trailer right into the back of Big Red, and one of the things that were in there were those gray Executone office phones. They were phenomenal. Really, really good gold recovery in those. But then I just got another. Yeah, the old Nokias are really good too, Patrick, you're right. But you know, they're so hit or miss, the office phones. He gave me a whole bunch the other day. They're sitting out in bins. I didn't see that. I thought they were necessarily scrap worthy. I'm probably going to sell them to the refiner. There just wasn't a lot in there. There was a lot of plastic. But I think Moyer said there might be silver mylar, because they were showing the picture and he said there might be silver on the keyboard. So I'm going to take a look at that again when I do another live. And I have all my experts in the audience. One of you guys can let me know on that. But some of them, I was really disappointed. I saw a couple of Panasonics in there. I'm like, oh yeah, those are going to be awesome office phones. They were rubbish. There's another company called yeah, the Nokias are really good. The Nokias are good. The Panasonic was a disappointment. Anaya, I think it is. A-N-Y-N-A, I believe is the brand. I did not find them to the newer ones I didn't find to be so great. But the Executones that I had from 1980, oh my God, they were fantastic. We got gold flashing off of those. As a matter of fact, every one of the bananas, every one of the boards that I took out of those was sold to my TikTok nation here. They all sold. Did really well on those. But there's another bunch I took to the transfer station. They were just all plastic. It wasn't worth my time. Another really good brand on the office phones is, I've got a strip screw here, guys. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get this apart. Well, I can get it apart. I just don't know if I can get it apart on camera. If you strip a screw, you got to go down and get a grinder and make a split in it. I actually have a screw stripper set up here. Oh, I got it. Hey! What was I doing? I got distracted by my strip screw. I actually have a screw stripper up. I bought a screw stripper. It works really well. Strip screw remover thingy. That actually works really well. Crap. Well, maybe I'm not going to get this guy apart. That wouldn't be nice. Anyway, so NES, I think, was the phones. Those were very good. There was the nice gold flash card under the keyboard. Those were very good. Toshiba, it was Mets and Mets. They were okay. But again, I didn't deem them worthy of my time. You know, I'm too busy to take apart things that are going to give me little yield, like the Lenovo's that are sitting outside. You know, that's one thing when you're buying e-scrap, you really got to know what you're doing. What's inside. That's why it's really good to watch take apart videos. So you don't get burnt. Crap. I can't get this one apart. I've got a strip screw on the other side. Well, I can take it apart. I just can't get it apart right this very minute. Getting smarter with my old age, guys. I always have something back up here. Hey, Patrick, what about wireless phones that we all used to use around the house? How are those for gold recovery? Like cordless phones? Guys, if you want to know anything about microscrapping, check out Patrick Williams. He does a great job with microscrapping. I remember the first car phone we had. My mother used to work nights. And it was in a big leather case. I mean, the phone was about this big. It was in a big leather case and it would plug into the cigarette lighter. But she worked nights. So, and I mean, it was, oh God, you think they're expensive now? They were actually more expensive for that thing there. It was an old Motorola. And, one night, Ericsson, very good for gold recovery. Good to know, Patrick. Thank you. Man, this is going to be one of these. the other thing is, most of my stuff is down in the basement because I have to take everything, and I got to clear everything out for them to start tomorrow. So I'm working off a little tiny caddy camcorders. Patrick can get gold out of a beer can. He's amazing. Just get these 4 little fiddly screws out. Switchers are really super hit or miss. Sometimes they're great, sometimes, you know, mediocre. But like I said, right now I'm trying to go through all the switches that I have in hopes of getting at least one more load of telecom off the board sort so I get a paycheck next week, you know. I've got to have that ready to ship on Monday. I tend to kind of do a lot of the same thing all at once. I know it gets a little redundant for my viewers, but for me, it's less sorting and less buckets and less bins around because it's just easier to sort. As my 50 Lenovo computers still sit outside. They're under wraps and stuff. Eventually I'll get to them, I guess. Gonna have to. Would be a bad time to get rid of them because shred has gone up quite a bit. But they're so worthless. You know, it really wasn't the guy's fault who gave them to me. Lenovo, basically, I call it the IBM leftover series. I was so disappointed. I thought they were going to be fantastic. They were rubbish. They must have come out of a school where they just needed a basic computer. Oh! Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. Woohoo! Ha ha! Jackpot! Okay, guys, what kind of board do you think we have here? Not that my excited woohoo should give you any clue. What would you say this guy is? And don't say dirty. We all know it's dirty. Wow, look at that. Hi, Dennis. How are you? Wow, wow, wow. Was right, Patrick. I did one of these yesterday, and it had a rubbish board in it. Well, I told you guys I was looking for a certain type of board. What do you think this one is, guys? That's a good one, is right. It does look like a MIPS board, Dennis. You're absolutely right. It is the MIPS design. By the way, MIPS design is actually in Nintendo and stuff. Those of you who don't know what a MIPS is, MIPS was the first company to break away from the mainframe computers, you know, the big honking things that were all over the wall. They made the first board that was capable of going into a PC. And they actually wound up going out of business because they couldn't catch up. I had an auction a couple of weeks ago on some vintage computers, and I had never heard of a MIPS board in my life. But the auction went bananas, and I had 5 of them. I sold 3. I kept 1, and the other one is going to be brought to the Smithsonian Institute and put on loan. It has something in it called the Jazz Development Board, and the Jazz Development Board was the first the board that gave way to Windows and IBM, and it was a major game changer in the personal computing world. MIPS eventually sold out to Compaq, and of course then to HP. And there's another company called Digital, DES, also out of California, Silicon Valley area. A lot of their stuff is becoming super collectible too. I was watching a really great video on Digital Computer Company and the whole company culture and everything else. And basically they just couldn't keep up with IBM. You know, and that was when IBM and Intel were just in their heyday. They're making them bigger and faster. And there's another whole set of stories about one of the employees from HP offering his design to HP. HP laughed at him, so he took it to Apple. That is a true story. Please don't ask me the man's name because I can't remember. And he and Steve Jobs built the Apple computer. And I just really got into it because I had gotten this palette of computers, and this board's a little bit on the dusty side. So yeah, that's why Dennis said he thought it might be a MIPS board because it looks like a MIPS. Dusty. All right, so look at the board. You're trying to decide what grade this board is besides a Hallelujah board. And we know it came out of a switch, so it most likely is telecom because most switches go to telecom equipment. If there are phone jacks, which there are, there's a lot of them in the front here. There's 24 ports in the front for phones. So yes, telecom. In this case, this is a high-grade telecom board. For something to qualify as high-grade, this is part of what I had the discussion with the guy who came yesterday. You know, he said his boards were high-grade telecom. I said they're not. Yeah, nicely, very respectfully. You know, I showed him high-grade boards. I had letters. I had spoken to Chris about it over at Board Sort, and you know, because when he came, I wanted to make sure that I was right. So he sent me pictures, and you know, he wasn't happy with where I graded the boards. I said, look, you're free to send pictures to Board Sort too, and I'm going to tell you what they're going to tell you. There's not enough chips. Yes, it's gold flashed. There were chips like to about here, and then it was blank where either a power supply or a hard drive would have gone. Like there was nothing in this part of the board, and it had gold flashing. Great board, but it was low-grade telecom. That's $5 a pound difference, and I wasn't going to buy it as I wouldn't buy it as a high-grade telecom. I'd never get my money back. So, you know, it was a good discussion, and you know, we certainly parted friends. And he actually asked me if I wanted to come work for him, and I'm like, dude, I just retired. No, thank you. I'll work with you, but I don't want to. I like what I'm doing. I like I'm enjoying running my music business, and I certainly enjoy this. So this is a high-grade telecom board. It has got to be densely populated with chips, and I got to get this off. It shouldn't have a lot of garbage or rubbish or extraneous stuff on it. How many gold corners can I see? I don't know. They're really dusty. Okay, let's all count gold corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we did it again. I lost 1. I haven't flipped it over yet, too. There might be more in the back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Dennis said he saw 7. 6, 7 maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 7. I haven't flipped it over yet either. This thing is filthy, dirty, disgusting. I really should run the vacuum over it. This power supply is not attached to the board. So this, my friends, is an example of a high-grade telecom board. Currently, they are selling for $10.50 at Board Sort per pound. And I'm very grateful that I'm not going to have to, I'm not going to have to depend on shipping as much to him because I have somebody locally who will match Board Sort's price and come get it. But I will always deal with Board Sort. I will always deal with our friend sellyourboards.com. I'll always make sure I send the material because they've been good to me while I built the business. And you don't just throw people to the side. Yep, moved on to the next. I will always send the material. So much material, so little time. This board is making me sniffy. This was my grandmother's. This was Bell's System. Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bridgeport, Connecticut, once upon a time, was a very great city. P.T. Barnum was the mayor here. There were all kinds of businesses here. Big bands played at the Pleasure Beach Ballroom. Remington Arms was here. It was really a big city. Well, you know, it was like going to New York if you went to Bridgeport. Now it's more like going to hell. So, yeah, sorry, I don't know what brought that on. I just wanted to show it to you. Yeah, that was my Grams. I don't really use it that much. I just like to have it on the workbench. I'm about to break what? Rescue PC. I'm not using it. I'm using the Home Depot special. Hi, sister. How are ya? Yeah, I have power tools, but you know they're noisy, and I like to talk when I'm doing this, and so on and so forth. All right, let's see if I've got this beastie free. Whew, boy, this is dusty. Yuck. That's a great board. Lots of ceramics. Terrific board. I'm presuming there's maybe some on the back too, but I'm not sure. Tell you in a minute. I'm also having a shed built outside too. I have a shed in the back here, but I'm afraid to go into it. It's rather dilapidated. Sunshine and lollipops. Lots of chips. All I need is some salsa, sister, and I'll be all set. Yeah, this is a good board. Cisco usually yields a fairly good board, but it's not really the manufacturer of the board's issue if it's not got a good board in it. I've told you before, they made this PCB board is manufactured flat, so it's as flat as flat can be, and it's just green. And then it's printed out for where you can put the circuitry, and then the engineers or the designers or the programmers add the chips to it. So you could have a huge board with a lot of dead space. You're like, oh, that's a crappy board made by so-and-so. Not necessarily. It just might be that they didn't need that many things on that board. Yeah, they mass produce them. I'm not sure if I'll get on tomorrow morning, guys. Number one, I got to make sure I have something new to show you. And I have so much going on here at the house, I just don't know. I would like to, because I can forget about it after next week. So yeah, we're having a shed built outside. I certainly don't want to bring all this nasty e-scrap into my pretty new kitchen, huh? All right, who's gumming up the works here? My kitchen overhead light is out. It's a wee bit dark in here. Why do you have to be difficult? Why? I gotta get these off anyway, because otherwise I won't get telecom for it. If you leave the rubbish on, you're not going to get high-grade telecom. It would seem I need to get this faceplate off before I can get the board freed. I don't know. Not being very cooperative. Well, I'm not going to sit here and fight with it. It's hanging up on all this stuff over here too. See if I can get that out of the way. There we go. There you go. It's all in the wrist. Hooray, hurrah. look at the back. That's why I wanted to get this up, because we were having this discussion about the board. So yeah, it's a great board. These are tantalum capacitors, and tantalums are good to collect as well. Yes, thank you, Patrick. You're absolutely correct. Patrick is reminding me that I should be wearing gloves and washing my hands. He's absolutely right. I think was it one of my first lives? I sliced my hand open. I wound up having to go get stitches. Cut it right across here. Yeah, that was pretty bad. You should wear gloves when you're handling e-scrap and metal. You're absolutely right, my friend. Do as I say, not as I do. So yeah, telecom all day long. Beautiful board. These are Intel chips. I'm not going to take these off. These have gold. I'm going to take this off because this is rubbish, and they don't like rubbish on telecom boards. So, what did we do today? We looked at Goldfinger cards. We looked at IDE connecting pins on CD-ROM boards. We graded some boards. I got strip screw on that one that didn't want to come off. And I got to show you a really nice telecom board, even if it is gritty. I'm going to take that outside and dust it off. All right, everybody. Well, it's good to see you. You know, I will try to get on when I can. I just don't know what the schedule is going to be like. These guys like to come in really early. I'm usually up, though. I mean, I tend to get up about 5 o'clock. Of course, I'm in bed by 6:30. You know, it's dark. It's dark. It's only 4:30 in the afternoon, and it's dark outside already. You know, my mind just doesn't wrap around that. So, thank you everybody for joining. Please don't forget to hit the likes. It really helps me in the search a lot. If you're interested in e-scrapping, computer boards, my specialty is really computers. I do run a computer recycling business. I try to make gold-bearing materials available to my subscribers when I can get stuff that's small enough to ship. You know, I try to do so. You know, that's my bailiwick. I think, now the TikTok says I've been on a year. I think I started last February. But, yeah, I'm working on it, Patrick. You know what? I miss it when I don't get on. I miss it a lot. Hi, Nita. I miss it when I don't get on. We've got this nice circle of us who are really friendly and interactive on ticker tape on TikTok, and it really is a very social, very respectful, very professional, and very smart group. I've learned so much from my subscribers. Yeah, it's really been it's been good. So yeah, I miss you guys when I can't get live. I really do. I miss learning things. I mean, I make mistakes. Everybody does, and I've learned a lot from my subs. And you know, catch up with your subs. Check up with your fellow. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. Dennis says awesome boxes every time. Yeah, I've got one. I'm going to repost the live because I did stay under an hour. So if you want to go back and take a looky-see, there's one box up for sale. And I'm going to try to get another one together for tomorrow. Really, you know, for you guys who are stacking gold-bearing material, I think I'm a pretty good resource for that. All right, everybody. God bless you. Thanks again for everything, and hopefully see you tomorrow. If not, make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications so when I go live, you know that I've gone live. And I will at least try to get some videos and stuff up so I can keep in touch with my TikTok universe. All right, everybody. God bless. Thanks again for joining in, and stay wonderful, huh? Thanks for everything. Bye, guys.